Look, we all know the lead up to any major tournament is just absolutely deafening, right? The sports media machine goes into absolute overdrive, pundits are shouting over each other, and the spotlight is glaring on the exact same usual suspects. But today? Today we're cutting right through that noise. We're going to step away from the front pages for a minute to reveal a massive tactical blind spot. We're talking about a silent threat lurking just out of frame that could completely upend this entire tournament.
So, who actually is the most dangerous team nobody is talking about? Well, I want to challenge you for a second. Take all that endless coverage of the heavy favorites and just push it to the side. Seriously, forget the obvious names everyone and their mother is tipping to lift the trophy. Because when you strip away the media bias and focus strictly on the raw mechanics of this tournament, you find the real danger just waiting in the shadows. I mean, just consider the massive tournament hype surrounding Argentina and England. The pressure cooker is entirely focused on them, isn't it? Every single training session is analyzed, every player's form is hyper-scrutinized. But amidst that deafening roar, there is absolute silence surrounding Portugal. It's a stark, almost unbelievable contrast when you really think about it. How on earth does a nation with such a deep, rich footballing pedigree fly so completely under the radar? Honestly, that disparity isn't just an interesting observation, it's a massive tactical advantage.
All right, let's step right up to the tactical board for the elite squad breakdown. Let's actually break down this roster from back to front, moving past the media narratives to look at the undeniable reality on the pitch. Step 1. A defense that can shut down almost anyone. You simply don't survive tournament knockout football without a totally resilient block, and they have exactly that. Then, moving up to Step 2, elite midfielders. We're talking about a pivot that can dictate tempo, resist the press, and transition the team into lethal attacking phases in the blink of an eye. And finally, Step 3. World-class attackers. They possess that ruthless, clinical finishing required to break deadlocks in those tight, high-stakes games. When you combine a rock-solid base with elite ball progression and clinical finishing in the final third, man, you've got a squad with literally zero glaring structural weaknesses.
Moving right along, let's examine the psychological advantage.
We've already established their physical and tactical completeness, but this intangible X factor, this is what makes them truly lethal. No pressure, no headlines, no expectations. Seriously, let that sink in for a moment. That is the sheer beauty of flying under the radar. The crushing weight of the hype machine magnifying every single tiny mistake. Argentina and England are carrying all of that. But Portugal, they are operating entirely outside that pressure cooker. There are no daily media crises, no paralyzing fear of failure. This incredible lightness allows their elite spine to just go out and play instinctive, fluid football, all while the heavily backed favorites are suffocating under the weight of their own expectations.
Which brings us to the inevitable collision course, the knockout stage nightmare.
Let's map out what happens when this tournament shifts into those unforgiving elimination rounds, because Portugal is quickly becoming everyone's biggest nightmare. Think about it, when the group stages end, the margin for error drops to absolute zero. The pressure on the heavily hyped favorites hits a total boiling point. And just waiting for them in the dark is a perfect storm. A world-class squad operating with absolute freedom. Opposing teams will spend literally weeks obsessing over the loudest threats, entirely unprepared for this perfectly balanced powerhouse. So don't be surprised when the quietest team in the build-up suddenly becomes the most devastating force in the knockouts.
This is absolutely the glaring blind spot in modern football analysis right now. So, I'm going to leave you with this. Agree or disagree? Are we all making a massive mistake obsessing over the loudest teams in the room, or is this tactical advantage being ignored at the favorite's peril? I really want to challenge your football knowledge today. Drop your tactical read in the comments below. Is Portugal the silent threat ready to ruin dreams? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember guys, always keep your eyes on the shadows.